Good morning, everyone. It's January 2024. Solomon here, and it's the 28th Sunday. I just received my W-2 form, so we're gonna hit it up. And before I begin, I would just like to disclose how I did it so that people don't get too excited and wet their pants. I used the book, The Power of Habit. I got this less than, a fraction of the cost buying it after May for 50% off plus. So all these pages are empty. Just to show you how powerful it is. Even though I didn't even have this book until, after 6 months, 8 months, August, July, 7 months into it. Actually, I found this in June, so 6 months I started. So every day I did my thing. This is what people don't understand about money. It's not just about the money. It's about your habits. Okay? Have a plan. Your habit loop. It's all about habits. And I'm already 39 years old, so, I have some kind of fundamental foundation. So if you're maybe, out of high school or out of college, or maybe you've gone through all this already, you have some kind of system in place. So we start in May. Anyways, here's the first one I found. Have a plan. So I start with walking, exercise, sunlight, reading a book, quality sleep, eat well, shower, and work. So you can see all these check marks highlighted. Like a vast amount of time has happened, all the way through December. I had all the months completed. Going to work, going to the dentist, going to the doctors or whatever, going to the gym. So that's the history. And this is just in 2023, so it's doable. So, like most people, I'm fat, I'm lazy, I get tired, And more recently than ever, men don't chase women anymore. There's less of that, and whether that is true or not, I don't know. But it's not very hard to find a woman out there who doesn't have a boyfriend in New Jersey unless she's old, or it's because she's just old. Most normal-looking girls are, of course, those that are beautiful or cute, automatically have a boyfriend. So that's not a question. But apparently, in recent times, on a national scale, men just generally chase women a lot less. I don't know. In New Jersey, that doesn't hold true. You will always find girls taken. It's just hyper competitive. It's New York City. It's a do or die. And there's always these options online, and people have the craziest things to say all the time because they can just find someone else because it's so densely populated. And that's just how it is. But that's New Jersey and New York. It's just crazy here. And so at the same token, you probably also have super high divorce rate, child support, alimony support, and all these other crazy shits, which I don't want to get into. I don't want to get involved, and that's not my thing. But it's gonna happen because people are crazy. There's just too much shiny object syndrome. Living near the city, everyone wants the new Lambo. Everyone wants the new homes. Especially with the luxury apartments coming out for $3,000 in rent. For one bedroom and all that stuff. It's very taxing. So, this year I'm continuing with the 2004, planner, and rinse and repeat. So, with that said, in mine, let's get to how much I made. And these numbers are surprising, given how many have-nots there are, which there are a lot. So if you can read that, this is an actual W-2 form. I live in New Jersey. This isn't from Singapore or some Southeast Asian country, full of scam artists and cryptocurrency, like mafias and triads and shit, with fake taxes. So I'm covering the rest of my information because there's so many cyber criminals out there and dark web people and data brokers. People are scum. They will even steal from hospitals. That's how trashy they are. And it's gotten to that point where they, ransom some of the top tier trauma centers in New Jersey, Russia, hackers, Mongolia. You trace all these people back to like Asia. Like China, like the top dogs are probably in China somewhere, being protected by the CCP. But that goes, beyond me through the dark web and all this other crazy internet shit. So yeah, instead of working and doing their own thing, they would rather just steal people's money, and that's what all money's good for, is just greed and just power struggles, just people being scumbags. And why? I guess post COVID, businesses couldn't survive, and they had to resort to criminalism and ransom and malware, or what today they just do cybercrime. So anyways, with that said, it's $122,983.98. So that's a lot of money. No matter what anyone says to me, that's a lot of money. Which it is a lot of money. Because I know that people don't work, people don't practice this self-discipline. They just do the instant gratification things, and they need that money for drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, or whatever. And there's only a handful of people who actually work in the world, which is sad. And that's just what it is. Like, I would like to have more faith in humanity, but when it comes to money, you can't trust anyone. And hopefully you learn that sooner than later. So after taxes, what's left in my bank account, it really, you get shafted by taxes. I'm reading this right now. It's federal taxes withheld. $17,662.50. The state, what the hell? $12,293. Damn, that's a lot of taxes. State income tax. Oh, excuse me, state income. $6,216.26. So I'm paying about, for everything I'm paying about $20,000 in taxes, and that's just how it is. So if I made it, cool beans. So if I made $120,000, ended up paying $20,000 in taxes, that means I have, in theory, $100,000 in cash, which is pretty good for an average ass person, especially me. Chinaman who doesn't spend money, who doesn't believe in humanity, and is very wary of women and girls stealing your money, and which is a real statement. I mean, have these like sugar bears and like China or whatever you call them. It's a cybercrime. It's just a cybercrime. Like, well, why has it got to be like that? Why does it gotta be like that? Like, people are always trying to steal grandma's money and stuff, to kick her door down and take her money. Like, do you have any other life skills? Like, what the fuck? Seriously, it's just becoming degeneracy all over. It's just like this shit has been happening since forever. Since the time of Christ. Even in ancient Rome, people don't know how to behave. You can't trust people with money. You never can. It's just sad, people do some like really weird things, ransom, they steal car parts. It's just like, dude, when are you gonna grow up? when are you going to get a job? You know, some people never do. Some people never do. They always live this like negative timeline, and but there may be other reasons why. They may be from another country. They have to do all this shady shit because they don't have citizenship. They may be from born in some hellhole like country. Russia, Ukraine, somewhere in China, Mongolia, Laos, Vietnam, Singapore, Thailand, somewhere even like in Japan. Like a lot of these countries, the triad, they got like there's only one rule. It's like might or right. They don't believe in it. They don't have like laws. It's just like if you can kill someone for money, you can and get away with it. It's perfectly legal. Like no, like a lot of times the bad guy wins. If you have more power, if you have more money, if you outwit someone, then and you can get away with it, then the money is yours, and that's how it's been. It's just like weird. Everyone seems to have a lack of morals and values, and it's very hard. It's very hard to find someone who's kosher, or someone who does things the right way. A lot of times I don't even want to do things the right way. But there's a lot of rules and regulations in America. Taxes you have to pay and all this stuff, and that's just how it is. So, how did I cough up this money? I read in this book, because I read, or at least listen to podcasts and YouTube. Instead of doing side hustles like eBay or Amazon, I could potentially drive for Uber or deliver food for Instacart, things like that, or DoorDash. I just straight up worked for my 9 to 5 and just maximized the overtime and differential, so if you work after 3 p.m. and that's how I did it. And I would not advise a normal person to be doing this. It's just that's who I am. I'm Chinaman. Life like a Mexican. These things don't matter. It's always the guy has to survive. He'll go to the airport and sneak into the out in the airstrip and just climb on one of the wheels until the plane takes off, and he's just like hangs on with the for dear life throughout the whole goddamn plane trip, just so he can get out of Mexico. I mean, it's just that dirty. That's how I perceive life. It's just like really, really dirty. So again, this is not for the average ass person. I may be on one of the extreme ends of extreme cheapskate. Most guys in my situation would probably say, hey, I'm gonna have a girlfriend, a wife, 2 kids, a home, pay more my mortgage. Sure, go do that. But that's not me. But whatever. Now that I see what life is, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to learn it earlier than later. So I can't live out my life like some dirty Mexican, trying to like live this extreme cheapskate lifestyle and get away with all this like petty things, like sneaking in movie theaters, or picking up popcorn bags out of the trash can and then getting the free refill, or this just like, damn, there's a point where you have to start paying for things, simply because you're the man, that they're paying you 6 figures, but you're still acting like a degenerate. It's just, always goes back to the scarcity mindset. Is there a need for me to be an extreme cheapskate? Is there a need for me to be, running away from girls, or just go to the go-go bar and just have a cheap substitute for an actual girlfriend? Probably not. I can probably go on Tinder or whatever, Match.com or Bumble or whatever, and get an actual girlfriend. And just, disclose my information with her. Because ultimately she's going to ask me, how much money do you have? How much money do you have saved up? Blah, 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 money. The biggest grifter, scam artists out there are probably girls, ghosting. With the ghosting and the catfishing and the this and the that, it's always about money. It's just like, no, you bitch. It's probably about money. Just that's all it is. It's really ugly out there. I feel bad for guys. Really. Women too. I don't know. Maybe it's fun to have kids. Maybe it's fun. Maybe you feel proud to be a single mom, having 2 or 3 kids and raising them by yourself. Maybe that's fun. I don't know. I don't know what that feels like, birthing a child and just, telling the man to, like, get the hell out of here and just, do your own thing. Maybe that's super fun for you. I don't know. But that ends up happening in America a lot. The guy gets fucked over. There's no question about it. So, more than likely, what am I gonna do? I got all this money, whatever the fuck, my income, this and that, and again, I already have my timeline planned out using this daily planner thing. What do you actually need all this money for? For your daily, the shit they do. You think I'm just gonna go to buy a Rolex watch or, I could upgrade these YouTube videos, but I don't trust anyone on Fiverr. Again, we live in a world of scum. People just take your money, they say they're gonna edit your videos and they never do, and, there's this Indian guy who can offer you 50% off, and, and the next thing you know, your videos look like shit and you're paying him thousands of dollars for these shit, just, edited videos, and it's just like, oh, fuck this shit. You're not gonna get your money back. X, Y, and Z. So, again, I'm just gonna go to work, exercise, nutrition, journal, vlog, YouTube, read, and sleep, and that's how I contain myself. That's how it is. And that is compounding, the compound interest effect. So, let me just run this down. Every instance I go to work, it's, no one wants to go to work, unless you're that dirty Mexican and you're you have a sense of urgency to survive and get the hell out of, your war-torn country or, drug cartel-ridden, state or whatever. So, I get rid of all my money in this S&P 500 company immediately because I know I'm a lazy motherfucker and I cannot have money in my bank account tricking my mind thinking that it's okay. Tomorrow will be okay. No, I don't live like that. Again, with the Mexican thing, it's just translated a little bit differently because I'm Chinese. But yeah, it's basically the same mentality. And that's work for me. That's how I get up in the morning. And it works. You find out you have $0 in your bank account, you're going to work. Do I ever touch my investments? No. Do people always call me to invest in their whatever and try to trick me and post pictures of girls online? Yeah, they do. Am I being hunted down on the dark web? Yeah, Solomon Chau. I don't know why. I don't know why. But Solomon Chau is pretty popular on the dark web. There was even before the movie All My Life, starring Harry Shum, in Hollywood. The name Solomon Chau has been hunted down, and I can see why. I'm a six-figure guy. That's a lot of money in third world countries. That's life or death, especially now with Palestine under rubble. There's probably going to be a new generation of cyber criminals. But that's what happens. Violence only breeds more violence, more scum into the world. Whatever. How else are they gonna catch up? Sure, create a benevolency of religious Buddhists and Muslims and priests or whatever, and yeah, that'll work. Said, but there is actually someone there around the hospital. He's the father. What do you call it? Pastoral care. Told me he's sworn to poverty, and all he has is a law degree, and of course he doesn't have to pay taxes for his monastery thing, and he gets free living from the state, provided that he lives in the monastery and all this stuff. It's kind of like a voucher aid or low-income housing stuff, government stuff. And I saw his car. It's just like this, like Steve Urkel, like 1980s Beatle looking thing, and I've never seen anything like that before. But that's him. He is able to survive into old age because he is sworn to poverty. When he opened up his desks for me to see, he literally fucking had nothing. There was no Lambo for him, even in his old age. I don't know. Maybe he's old. Over 55. I was impressed. He didn't need all this shit. Why should anyone need all this shit? He had a business card. He didn't even have a business card. He just wrote his stuff in the back of a Get Well card, Jesus card, which I still have around. All he had was like Jesus cards. He never played with Bitcoin or the stock market or whatever. He's sworn to poverty. That's a super hard life to live. And he's not allowed to get married, and so he has his brothers and stuff. I'm not saying we should all live like him. It's just like I was impressed by his amount of not needing stuff. Stuff materialism. And of course it always goes back to the girl, girlfriends and marriage and shit. When you're dealing with a species of a gender, a race of like beings that love stuff, love Prada bags and Gucci and Lambos or whatever you're attracted to, it's just like, how are you supposed to compete with that? How are you supposed to live up to those expectations she has for you? You have to be 6 foot tall. You have to make $200,000 a year. You have to be white or blonde hair or blue eyes, or maybe she only likes black guys or whatever. And you're, Hispanic or you're Asian or you're Mexican, you're kind of fucked. And just having that that like gap of not meeting her qualifications is a constant you're not gonna get anywhere with her. She's not gonna get anywhere with you or anyone for that matter, because the percentage of guys that make $200,000 and 6 foot tall is much less than 1% of the population. So it all just goes back to like the original sins, like vanity and the fame monster and greed and why has it got to be like that? It just is. You just have to be very selective. There's 1,000 complaints from men about women. There's 1,000 complaints about women about men. They don't like guys that are cheap. They don't like guys that are short, and then blah blah blah. They don't like guys that are bald or whatever. Then in real life, you talk to some girls, they're like, yeah, I'll go out with some fat guy or some black guy named Tyrone, or or they're single. Like, if your standards are so high, why are you a single mom? There's so many of them, and it's just like, who's telling the truth here? It's just like, no, you're just like everyone else. You get drunk one day and you conceive a child in the backseat of a Camaro, and it's just like, why did you make all these crazy statements about a guy being 6 feet tall and makes $200,000 a year? It's just like, you're willing to do it with just about anyone just to pop out babies. So you could collect your child tax credit. I don't know. It's just gets really complicated with girls, and it's just like it's so complicated that I wouldn't even. I would just like, this is like quantum physics or some shit. Like, no one's gonna ever understand such a creature. All a guy can do is make more money, or in some cases implant bionic stents, stilts in his legs, which I do not recommend, and would be very, very cringe. Some guys are willing to do that so that they can meet the minimum requirement of today's modern TikTok girl. In any event, Marcus Aurelius, ancient philosophers, will teach us that we can only do what we can do. And no matter what you tell me, I already know people are super cringe about money, uptight, and cheap. So I gotta work, exercise. Today is raining, so it's almost like life is commanding me to stay home and be fat and lazy. So I'll probably hit the gym. No one wants to go to the gym in this weather. No one wants to go to the gym. Today, look, this looks like shit outside. No one wants to walk today. It's just like, sometimes you're just bound to be fat. There's nothing you can do. You're just spellbound to be fat is your destiny. So I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm just gonna walk there. Nutrition, of course, oatmeal, egg. In my case, I drink green tea. Just stay away from sugars and high amounts of carbs. You don't have to be a genius. Journal. Get out a pen and paper. Vlogging, that's what I'm doing right now. YouTube, I got to take the time to post this thing. Reading is probably the hardest for me out of all these activities for some reason. Of course I know. It's because of the video games, the porn, the YouTube shorts, Instagram, the Facebook, or whatever. The electronic media has scrambled my brain, in which I was already in special needs and special education as a child anyways, when these things didn't even exist. The Nintendo didn't exist for me until I was like in 2nd grade. And so even in preschool and kindergarten, I was fucked with math and reading. I just always was. Einstein didn't learn how to read until later in life. I think the 4th or 5th grade. Same with me. I didn't read until the 4th and 5th grade. And even then, adults only have the reading skills of a 5th grader. And the more mature adults only have the reading skills of an 8th grader. But on average, it's about 5th grade, which most books you can read on a 5th grade level anyways. So, in real life, I would see girls reading books more than guys. Just everyday people. Of course, guys read books, but on a larger scale of everyday average-ass people, girls read books. Again, you're speaking to someone, a race, a gender, a sex, an entire sex population who doesn't need to play video games or watch pornography. And they can do that, and because of that, their discipline level is heightened or increased naturally. I think that's kind of cool, but I'm not a girl. I can't speak for I'm not a girl, so I know it's true, but I don't know what that's like. I wish my focus was higher or whatever, but again, with the cheap dopamine, growing up with computer games and all this stuff and pornography, reading makes it the hardest skill for me. And you'll probably get the most value out of reading as well. For example, I read I read to just double down on your 9 to 5, do the overtime, and stay late to help out, and help out even if you don't get paid, and you know, kissing ass and kissing frogs and stuff like that. That's how you get ahead. That's how you make 6 figures. I'm not even supposed to be making 6 figures. My base salary is only $86,000, which is really good for someone like me. Yeah. Back then, I thought 80. I read one time as a kid in high school, $80,000 as a garbage man, you'd be a millionaire. But of course, after taxes and whatever, high cost of living, it's not that much. But yeah. So because I'm making 6 figures, that means that a large portion of the normal American population is probably hitting 6 figures. That's just how it is. I'm just like 5-10 years late than the average ass person. That's always how it is. I don't really care. That's my personal best. Even when I was selling on eBay and Amazon, collecting unemployment and working, all at the same time, it still didn't amount to that. So it is a good life lesson right there. So instead of just hustling in several different modalities, if you just become super good or invest your time into this one thing, you'll eventually make a lot more money than if you were just trying to be an octopus like Grant Cardone and just 10xing everything. I lived in a time where real estate wasn't cheap, especially in New Jersey. So that option I don't have for me. If I moved out west to Oklahoma or something, I could probably pull it off, but in New Jersey, you can't be doing that shit. Everything's just too fucking expensive. Living near New York City, you're just fucked. And the last one I have here is sleeping. So you just sleep. 8 hours is good. Anything else is a bonus to tell you not to sleep that long, but whatever. That's what my body does. And I also have nothing else better to be doing than to be sleeping. Again, that may be an unfair advantage. Some people have kids, again, with the girl, the wife, the kids. That's just the natural order of things. Hopefully, man and woman gets along well, but I've been to the nursing homes in New Jersey as a mobile X-ray tech, and old ladies are crazy. Even crazier guys. It's the opposite. Boys act all crazy and shit when they're younger, but then they mellow out, and girls are usually much more mature at younger ages, and then they act all like crazy and shit when they're older. And it's just like it's bad. They need meds, they need to be strapped down. Not like the old man doesn't go crazy too. I mean, you got some crawling out of beds and cutting their the penises off their damn suite mate, their damn roommate, and tossing it across the room. And that happens sometimes. So, life is not guaranteed. I just did my personal best. Does anyone feel good for me or bad for me? More likely not. I found out what the pharmacist makes. She makes $140,000. So, am I anybody? I'm only somebody to myself. But at the age of 39, that's all I want, really. I don't want all this drama. I don't want no drama mamas. I don't want to find out that, you have 3 kids, and then I have to pay all this child support and shit. It's just like, this is all I can handle. This is all my bandwidth can handle. And that's just me. If I went to a party, got someone pregnant, would I be prepared to have 3 kids and shit? Probably not. It would just be crazy. And, and I don't know. If I was Tyrone or Chad, I would definitely have a hard time staying out of prison or jail, just because of the money is not easy to make. And everyone wants it. There's a lot of cyber criminals out there. There's a lot of regular criminals out there. There's a lot of people stealing car parts out there. They sneak under your car and steal the catalytic converter or some crazy shit like that. Why is it gotta be like that? It just is. I didn't have any answers until I read or listened about Marcus Aurelius, ancient Roman emperor. There's just a population of criminals and assholes, people out there who are just born like that. It's just a percentage of the population that's like that, like super asshole. That's their job. That's their karma in the world. That's what they do. Some people's jobs are to sell shitty products. That's what they do, like salesmen. Hopefully you don't get convinced and buy their shit product, but that's what they do for a living. That's their gift of gab. That's their talent. That's the silver spoon in their mouth, and that's their job. That's the only talent they have going for them. And my talent just happens to be medical. And I properly align things, and then God and the laws, like Solomon Chau, will continue to be able to live like an okay life if he doesn't stop working and he follows the rules and laws and regulations of New Jersey and whatever. If he happens to deviate from this path, he's absolutely fucked, because no one else is gonna fucking pay for someone like him. So that's my livelihood, the medical field, as well as it is for many other people out there. There's nurses, there's doctors, there's other kinds of technicians. That's what people do. And sadly, there are criminals out there too. It's just like, just don't be one of them. Just don't be a homeless guy. And if I only had 2 options in life, either be working or be some homeless guy or a criminal, I would pick the 9-to-5 guy. I would force myself to be working 40 years with my 9-to-5. Not like it's bad or anything. I don't perceive it as bad. I perceive it as an opportunity. And too many people in the millennial generation or Generation Z are too fucking weak mentally and physically, or they have no appreciation for. Again, you could be homeless or you could be a criminal instead. Life, the bank, the mortgage people, they're not gonna give a fuck. You could trend down that path if you want, or in some cases, you could be an Instagram model. But again, you're probably not a beautiful woman. I don't expect that. More than likely, you're an average ass, guy, and you got a penis, and you're horny, hungry or horny. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So, with everything said, those were my numbers. About $120,000 and $100,000 in cash after a year of slaving my life away. Do I have any regrets or anything? No, I don't. I was going to do that regardless. If it wasn't the medical field, then I would probably be an engineer. How much do engineers make? $85,000, $95,000, $100,000. Considering the fact of I know who I am, I'm not that smart. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm kind of dumb. The only thing I have going for me is equivalent to that of SpongeBob. He can just do simple menial tasks, and that's it. And he just has like this attitude just to go to work every day because that's all he knows how to do. And he's god awful and everything else, but that's what he has to do. It's kind of like being autistic. It's just if you deviate from your normal, regular autistic path and way of life, you're gonna start freaking out. You're gonna start slipping up. Like Rain Man, he can only do like certain things because that's his comfort zone. If he breaks out of it, he's absolutely fucked. So hopefully that can shed some light on people out there who have not yet made their first six figures in 1 year. And that's it. I'm 39 now, so it took me 39 years to reach this point. Last year I made about $90,000. I wasn't even able to do it at the age of 38. And of course there's outliers and whatever, and there's kid geniuses and prodigies, and this video is not. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Either you're born or you aren't. If you aren't born and you were born, some average momo, then this is the video for you. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. This has been Solomon Chau. See you in the next one. Peace out.